First thing is to say thank you to Eduardo and his team for last night's dinner and the entertainment. Is Eduardo? Where is Eduardo? Is Eduardo? Stepped out, but I saw him a moment ago. Sophia, well done, Sophia. Can we give her appreciation? I'm not sure I'm going to appreciate the dancing. Again, I made comment last night, but particularly by the gentleman. There's much to learn, I think. Now, this is going to be a double act with Anne-Catherine and I, because we have quite a lot to get through. Last night we said not a farewell to Anne-Catherine, but we did do our level best to say thank you to you, Anne-Catherine, because we will look for Anne-Catherine's help and support for many, many years to come. Today is our last General Assembly together, and we're going to begin with some remarks by Johanna from the Robert Koch Institute, who will be taking on the hosting of the Secretariat from now. Johanna, the floor is yours.
Yes. Thank you. So thank you, Duncan. And I'm also going to start by thanking Mozambique and Eduardo, who is not in the room, but Sophia, who is in the room, for being such wonderful hosts and bringing us together. And I also wanted to add my thanks briefly to the IANPHI team for pulling together the meeting. It's really wonderful that so many of us have come together. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Johanna Hanefeld. I'm the acting vice president of the Robert Koch Institute, Germany's National Public Health Institute. I also head its Center for International Health Protection. And we are delighted, absolutely delighted, to be taking over the hosting of the IANPHI Secretariat, really from now. And I'm also sending very warm wishes of our president, Lars Schade, who is delighted, but who unfortunately we couldn't both travel, so you'll have to do with me. And we're also a little bit humbled by the trust placed in RKI. We really very much want to support and provide a platform for the partnership to thrive, and it's wonderful to see it thrive here. I'll talk a little bit, or I've been asked to talk a little bit about the specifics, but before I do that, I also wanted to add my thank you to Anne-Catherine very much for her role and for the whole role of the team at Santé Publique, for what they've done for the network, but also for the sort of very collegial relationship we've had in the transition period. So I'll talk a little bit about that in a moment. We've been working for the past 3 months really intensively around the transition of the Secretariat to RKI, and I also here want to thank in particular Angela Fehr from the Robert Koch Institute, who really has been shepherding the process from our side, and who many of you know well as a sort of strong focal point we have. The arrangements for the hosting agreement have now been concluded. I'll say a few words about that. We've selected a full-time Secretary General, and we hope that there'll be a growing staff team placed in Berlin, and I personally also hope that will mean that all of you will come to visit at maybe not all at once next month, but at one point in the not too distant future. And I'm not going to take away from Duncan, but I'm delighted that we selected a strong Secretary General, and I also want to pay tribute to a strong field of candidates. So I think we've got IANPHI is in a very, very good position to take this forward. So as RKI, as mentioned, we're a national public health institute, and we're hosting, just like Santé Publique Française. And what we want to do is really to support the network. So we do not want to, in a way, it's all of our network, and it's a partnership. And we just want to do our level best to support that in the best way we can and really let this collective energy thrive. So the hosting agreement was our process of negotiating the hosting agreement was modeled very much on what IANPHI currently has as a hosting agreement in Santé Publique Française. And it was guided by two things. One is to provide the best footing for IANPHI. And the second, linked very closely to that, is to secure IANPHI's independence, right? So that's very important because as RKI, as many of you in the room, we're a government agency. And we had to ensure that IANPHI can draw on our resources and the infrastructure that the Robert Koch Institute provides, but without interfering with your independence. And I think, or I hope IANPHI is happy with the hosting agreement now and the facilities that you will have. In addition, we have a collaboration agreement around some of the financing, and we can talk more about that if you wish. But I really think this is a first step for, I think, a very much strengthened network. And I wanted to make two additional points, and then I'll stop and let's go on with the meeting. So I am very conscious that we're a northern host again. Yeah, and I want to be very explicit about that, especially because we are in Mozambique and I feel part of a movement of national public health institutes and I feel this energy and I know that we're a global movement. So I very much want this to be a global secretariat and for people not to see it as something based in the north. And whatever we can do to make that more of a reality, please talk to us. And I hope that IANPHI will develop this strategy in the future. We'll continue on this path. But it was really important to me to mention that. That was the first point. For yourself. And the second point I wanted to say is this, and I think we heard very inspiring words yesterday at the opening, is that the pandemic really showed the world that we need national public health institutes and public health capacity in every country. And since the beginning of this year, global health is really being redrawn in completely new ways. And I feel very strongly, and even stronger after yesterday, that what we have as a partnership in this room is more important than ever. So money is important, but it's not all about money. I think it's about how we can leverage each other, our collective knowledge and our experience and our learning. And I really think that that's the wonderful thing of IANPHI. And that's what motivated us as RKI to provide a sort of basis to that. So thank you for the trust you've placed in us. And please let us know where we can do better. And then really, we look forward to working ever closer with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Johanna. I just know the future's secure. I know we're in a strong and strengthening position. We're building on the giants, the shoulders of the giants before that we are taking forward. And so as we move on, make this thank you to Santé Publique France, to Caroline, the Chief Executive, to Anne-Catherine, the Secretary General, as we move to this next post-pandemic phase, thinking about the next 5 and 10 and 15 years. I'm not going to improve on what Johanna said there. Thank you for those words. If there are any questions for Johanna RKI, this is a good moment. I used to say when I was the chief executive of a mental health service 30 years ago, and I was incredibly confident about silence. I can manage silence for a long time. I shan't demonstrate. Johanna, thank you. Big thank you to Lars, and we're on our way, everyone. Thank you. I want to give a formal introduction for Neil Squires, and Catherine, Johanna. We've been through a period of quite intensive recruitment. It was a global search, and we had interviews over 2 days towards the end of March. And I'm delighted to say that we were able to offer the position of Secretary General to Neil. And this is an opportunity for Neil to reintroduce himself, not as the Director of Global Health Operations for the UK Health Security Agency, but as our next Secretary General of IANPHI. Neil.
Thank you very, very much. Quero dizer também muito obrigado a Moçambique pela esta lindíssimo país e oportunidade de fazer esta. So thank you very much to Mozambique for being the host of the event today. It's a great pleasure. I spent 4 years in Mozambique and very much enjoy coming back here. I also want to thank Anne-Catherine. I've worked very closely with Anne-Catherine since I joined, first of all, PHE and then UKHSA, working with Santé Publique France and Anne-Catherine, learning about IANPHI from 2016 onwards. And really, it's her leadership and her encouragement that has allowed me to make this step out of the UK Health Security Agency and into this great partnership of international national public health institutions. A brief little bit about me. I'm a medical doctor, but I got my formative training in public health in Africa. I was a district medical officer in Malawi, so I sort of know the region well. I've spent 4 years here in Mozambique. I spent a long time covering Nigeria, Ghana, sort of Sierra Leone, and working in the Horn of Africa. But I've also sort of worked very much in Asia. So I lived and worked in Bangladesh. I've worked in leprosy control in India. So I feel I've got connections to many of you in many parts of the world and want to sort of build and maintain those strong international links. And certainly very much responds to Johanna's comment that the strength of IANPHI is in its membership, and we need to ensure that every member of IANPHI, of the network, can contribute to our collective ambition to improve public health globally. There was a saying that we used to use very much in Malawi, which was "Mutu umodzi susenza ndenge," so one head will not lift a roof. So we all have to work together. So all of our collective heads, we've heard there are 126 agencies, 126 heads of agencies that can lift that public health roof. And I think our responsibility now is to mobilize that collective wisdom, that collective knowledge to lift the roof of public health in a time of intense global turmoil, where it has never been more important to create these strong networks of institutions that work together in order to strengthen the public's health. So a huge pleasure to me. Huge thanks to Santé Publique and to Anne-Catherine in particular. I will continue to work very closely with Anne-Catherine in order to ensure that we have continuity as we move forward. But I'm very much looking forward to forming that strong base in Berlin and ensuring that the resources that RKI have offered to support this developing network are used to maximum effect to convene and to support the wider network. So thank you.
So now we are going to move to the second part of the General Assembly. So we had to change a bit the agenda because we were supposed to present you, as we have to, the final accounts and the financial audits, but they are not ready yet. So we will do that at a later stage before June, because we have to have everything cleaned up and published by June. So you will receive emails from Sarah, I'm sure, to organize the General Assembly, because she's in charge of the General Assembly organization. So therefore, it gives us a bit of time to give the floor to Mika Salminen, the director of THL, because Mika wanted to speak about how is speaking with WHO Euro to support WHO Euro from his institutes, given the constraints. Yes, I can give it to him, and then I will move to my presentation. So.
Thank you very much, Anne-Catherine, and it's a great pleasure for me to be here in Maputo, and thank you again from my side also for organizing this really inspiring meeting. I'm going to touch on some things that were said earlier here on how we can leverage through various ways our institute's strengths to support public health in this time of very rapid change. And really, we have been discussing with WHO Euro at this time about a model which we think could be also replicated by others if they so choose, or if they so will want to do so. Even if this is now presented as a Euro thing, it is not monopolized in any way. We think others could do similar things if they wish. So if I can have the first slide first. So of course we all know the background, and we actually wrote a small piece together with some of the good colleagues here. We were in a bit of a hurry, so because we thought that it needed a rapid response, so we were not able to capture everybody who I'm sure would have been happy to support the idea. Basically, just saying that whereas the withdrawal of the US from the WHO is a very sad and unfortunate event, there are some opportunities in that also. We know that the US influence has been very strong, both in good and less good circumstances of the organization itself. And I would argue that there's an opportunity here for others also to maybe step in, not to completely cover all the loss of funding that is, I think, unrealistic, unfortunately. Especially in Europe, we have a lot of other things that take a lot of the budget, including defense, unfortunately. But we could do some things, and we have been thinking in THL on what we can do as a public health institute. So if I get the next one, please. So money is short everywhere. What can we do? We go forward. So I think IANPHI members can have a role. So we worked with the Euro office on a vision where we could create a sustainable and dynamic exchange of staff between at least the larger national health organizations and WHO by establishing, which is a working name at the moment, the WHO Associated Expert Program. So if I have the next one. This would be a cooperation where we would make a kind of MOU and sign a bilateral non-binding agreement that would establish aspirational targets for the deployment of national staff, in this case to Euro. But as I said, this is not something that is monopolized, or the model could be used anywhere in the world, as well as then have an administrative framework that would then be called this Associate Expert Program. And if we go forward, next one, yeah. So there would be different modalities. Of course, there are, if I look at the second bullet first, of course, secondments have happened to WHO for a long time. US cities had lots of secondments at WHO. This is of course great because it provides expertise to the organization without direct funding, but it's of course also, and everybody realizes that it's a form of soft power use, because experts come with their own models of how things should be done, and that of course then influences the organization's politics and the policies, not politics, policies of how public health is seen and what are the priorities and so forth. That could be used. That's nothing new per se. But what is a little bit new is that we would provide the opportunity for WHO to use our own experts, our staff, for shorter or a little bit longer term assignments based on a need and based on a mutual understanding. So we would send some people for anything between a short few day assignment. They could maybe also work from their regular post to prepare documents, prepare reports, prepare summaries, or then go to the office and work there for anything from a week or two to a longer period of time. I think the 11 months here is like the maximum, because then it becomes secondment. I don't myself foresee any that long kind of things in this model. And then secondments, of course. And the next slide tells you what we will do. So we have already agreed on one secondment, and we're negotiating about the second one, a middle level expert staff for 2 years. And we will provide ad hoc support through short-term assignments for specific tasks for the Euro office. Now you could ask, what is it in this for us? And I think that's not the main question, because WHO is there for everyone. And I think it's an important organization. The multilateral framework that we have been working on, cooperation, is under a very severe threat. And we want to do our part of trying to support that collaborative effort. But we also think we can benefit, because people who get this experience of working together on an international stage, they develop their own mindset, they develop their own thinking, they develop their own skills. So we think we are on the receiving side as much as the giving side. So that's where I will end. This model is freely available, of course, to copy for any WHO region. We have a sort of a draft MOU, which I'm happy to share, and with also have the permission by the Euro office. And we could any other region that wants to do this, or just do a bilateral between one institute or any WHO entity, you are all free to copy it as much as you wish and modify it according to your needs. Thank you very much. This was what I had, and sorry that I couldn't present the books, but we are looking for a new auditor, so that's I think necessary. Thank you.
So now I will go through my last update as Secretary General. Yeah, so, is that okay? And then just to give you a little bit of more information about what's going to happen next, and we will have the signature of the MOU between ECDC and IANPHI. So Pamela Rendi-Wagner, the director of ECDC, will be online, and then we will have the handover of certificate, and then the conclusion of the General Assembly. During my update, I'm going to call for one vote. You will have to use your phones or computers to vote online. Sarah, I've sent you a link for those who are voters. This link is going to be activated for a few minutes. So everybody eligible for voters will have to vote for approving the nomination of the new director of Chinese CDC to be officially an EB member. So I have a specific slide, then you will see vote now. So just to say, so like this, when I finish my presentation, then the vote will be completed and we will confirm that the vote is fine. Hopefully the quorum will be reached. So may I have the, yeah. So first of all, I wanted to introduce the new executive board for 2025. We have new members. As you know, we had elections at the end of the year. Wanted to mention that Professor Amer Ikram was elected as our vice president after being a member, then an executive board advisor. So now he's our vice president. Mika has been elected as our treasurer. Treasurer sees everything within IANPHI and is and work closely with the Secretary General and the President. We had Young Mi Lee, the director of the Commissioner for Chorea Disease Control Agency, Professor Abderrahman Maroufi from the Institute of Pasteur of Morocco. He hosted, when he was the director, a meeting in Marrakesh, and this is where I went the first time. Then Caroline Semaille, the director of Santé Publique France, has been elected as well. So with all of this, we have 14 members in the executive board. So Professor Chen is currently the EB member, and he is the director of China's CDC. He has ended his mandate and is going to be replaced by his successor, Professor Wang. And in the statutes of IANPHI, it is possible to, when a director who is a member of EB leaves, his successor can take his position at the EB. So the EB agree for this, and then it has to be ratified by the General Assembly. So this is why we are having the vote now. So Sarah, I think you are going to open the vote. It's okay? Okay, it's okay. So those, you can vote. And you will have instructions for how long the vote will be open. So I wanted to give you now some few figures about IANPHI as it is today. So first of all, it was said before, I don't see, can you change the slide? Yeah. So now we have 128 members in 107 countries as of January 2025. Just to remember that we were very delighted to welcome new members in December 2024. So 6 new members, and you have the list here from different continents, and 3 associated members changed status to national members, so they are now voters. And we have received since the end of the year several requests to join IANPHI or expression of interest. So we are looking through those organizations right now. As you know, the Secretariat core activities are funded by the dues collection, so it requires a lot of effort, and this is why you receive many often reminders from the Secretariat to pay their dues. So the dues collection this year is about 290,000 euros. Not all members can afford to pay, so depending on the year, it's never the same ones, but so the EB approved waivers or discounts. So you have the figure that we could have had if everybody would have paid. But we know that the situation is difficult, and what we care about is to maintain the network in its full integrity, and this is what we try to do with the EB. Information about the MOUs which were signed recently. As you may remember that we have signed an MOU with the World Meteorological Association in relation to the activities of IANPHI in climate change, particularly to contribute to the global Heat Health Information Network. And this is why we have this committee on climate change and public health. And heat waves is a very important issue in the world. So this was signed in December 2024 at the General Assembly online and approved. And today we will sign this agreement with ECDC that we have discussed for several years now. Antonis Lanaras is here, he's head of the International affairs at cooperation at ECDC. Anthony, so I'm sure you will say this more precisely. This is what we have been busy with. But we have been also busy with the committees and the support that we are providing from the Secretariat to the committees. And I just wanted to mention a few events that are coming up soon. So first of all, for the Climate Change and Public Health Committee, 2 workshops will be organized very soon. One in June in London. It will be supported by the World Meteorological Association. And another one will be supported by the French Development Agency and the European Environmental Agency, which hosts the European Climate Change Observatory. So all of this has been organized by the Climate Change Committee. So it's very good news because we are also getting financial support to allow participants to travel to the meeting. And it's very much needed, as you know, to have face-to-face meeting for those committees because it doesn't really work when it's only done online. So we will organize also in June in Paris a meeting, a workshop, a 3-day workshop from the Social and Public Health Inequality Committee. It will be funded by the International Health Program of Canada. So once again, many thanks to Teresa Tam and her team in the program as well, in the program management. So this will allow about 30 participants to be funded to participate to the meeting and also to have a bit of staff support for organizing the sharing of resources. Many of the members of this committee are sending resources to be shared. So we are trying to organize them so they are available for everyone. About recent publications, I just wanted to say also that the work on the essential public health function is progressing very well thanks to the leadership of Angela Fer from RKI. And you had a meeting this morning, and also the EB has approved a wide consultation of the draft document, which has been prepared, which is a revision of the framework for creation of NPHIs and development and strengthening of NPHIs based on the revised list of functions by WHO. So it's a huge amount of work. So many thanks to Angela to have led this work. Now the code of practice, which was approved in December, is now available on the IANPHI website. So many thanks to Bjorn from the Norwegian Institute to have led this work as well. There will be a lot there to work on to develop our internal processes, for example, to describe how we maintain excellence and independence. So there is a lot in this document to work and also maybe to collect good case studies that exist or examples. And the Climate Change and Public Health Committee has been very active in publishing reports, and they are all available on the IANPHI website. One was done in collaboration with the European Health Agency, and another one is just the continuation of the survey within the membership about how do we deal with extreme weather events, but it's from a global survey within the full membership of IANPHI, not only the European members. We have still few projects ongoing funded by the International Health Grant Program of Canada, 3 of them. So I've mentioned the last one, which will be the workshop in June. And we have had this morning here breakfast meeting to discuss the second one. And the first one is about strengthening the network. And thanks to the reallocation of resources within this project, we were able to fund some of the participants to this meeting. So many thanks again to our great funder and for the great dialogue that we have with the Public Health Agency of Canada. Sohail Saikat, as you know, he has worked for many years on essential public health functions, and he has received the funding for 2 projects also by Canada. And it was agreed that we will organize some consultation together. So we will organize a small consultation in Paris, beginning of July, probably. We have invited Neil already to come. I think it would be good as they all relate to essential public health function, if Angela could join us in Paris. And then the rest will be online because we have no capacity to make people travel. But it will be good to have a vision of all those projects together, which are linked through the same funder, but also through the essential public health functions. So you will see more detail. I will not present the next slide because I've mentioned that already. So yesterday you had the session about no, it will be today, the session on the GHEC project. Sadaf is not with us, unfortunately, today, but Andrew Lee will make a presentation. This project is funded by the Gates Foundation, and thanks to this funding as well, we have people who were able to join the meeting. So we see our importance also to link the network with the project's funding to allow those meetings to happen and have a good attendance as well. Sorry. Then we have another project we are working on for quite a long time now with the European Commission, with DG INPA. I think Diana is in the room. I'm not sure if she is in the room. And with the Swedish agency, with Anders, it's a very, very long process, but it will be materialized soon, I'm sure. So this is to support the development and strengthening of NPHIs in Africa. There are two components in that project. It will be a 4-year project. One component is really the twinning in a way between European countries and African countries to strengthen their institute. And there will be money coming from the member states, not from the Commission for this part. And then there is a regional component in which IANPHI will be involved and which will be led by Sweden, and both by SIDA, the Swedish Development Agency, and the Public Health Agency of Sweden. So you have received in your email, for those who are concerned, an email from me a few days ago to ask you to describe your collaboration with African institutes. And I had a selected list of institutes in Europe to send this out. Diana has asked me to send it to more institutes in Europe to have a better mapping of what is the existing what are the existing collaboration to have a better I would say program for this Team Europe initiative. So you will receive another email from me very soon. So this was my update. I wanted just to say a few words about the team right now. So you will see the Secretariat teams for 2004 and 2005. So myself, today I will disappear and I will be replaced by Neil. And I'm very happy about this. I want to say that Marie, Ines, and Raphael and Sarah has been very, very helpful for the past months. Without them, there wouldn't be anything done. So big thanks to them. They do a lot of work. And we have many different activities, as you can see. So I'm sure they will be great to work with Neil and RKI colleagues. We have people who have joined thanks to the project funding, like, of course, Sadaf, Andrew Lee to lead the project with GHEC, and Rosita Vegang as well. And right now we have an intern, and we will get another intern soon to carry on the collection of dues up to October. And then it will be transferred all to RKI. So like this, it's a smooth transition. And we have also our colleague in the US office. As you know, the US office is in a difficult situation with the lack of funding. Not new, but it's getting worse, I think. And Sue is here, and we are happy to have Sue Binder with us. So right now it's Rebecca Martin, Hélène Whitney, Muna, and Sue Binder, who is here. So before the transition to Germany and the handover to the new Secretary General, I would like to give my thanks to many people. First of all, and thank you to all of you. Many thanks for all the presents, the nice words, etc. from yesterday. But I have people to thank because I have learned a lot from them in the past 18 years. So, of course, Jeff Copeland and Pekka Puska, who were the creator of IANPHI, I think they had a wonderful idea. Mauricio Hernandez, who was the president, but also secretary general before being president. André Van den Sande, who was the former director of RIVM, and we've worked a lot with André to set up the association. And with Duncan, who was before treasurer and then president. You don't remember that you were treasurer, I'm sure. We have worked a lot with Juan Rivera Don Marco from Mexico for 6 years to set up the association. And as I have said, the treasurer is a very important person for us because a lot of things which are official has to go through the treasurer. An enormous thanks to Courtney Dusenberry, Sue Binder, Alison Greenspan from the US office in the early days. Sue, I hope you will transfer my message to the two of them and to Jeff as well. I've learned a lot about IANPHI, about the US system of funding, how does it work at CDC. So an enormous thanks to them because it would have been impossible for me to become the Secretary General of IANPHI. And I've worked with Alison Greisman from the very beginning, 2008, to prepare the program of the annual meeting. So each year we were preparing with Alison, sending contacts, sending templates, etc. So I've learned a lot from her. Pekka Jusilati was a Secretary General at THL at the time, with Katja Eikelinen as well at THL, the Finnish Institute. And Katja has been constant with us up to now to maintain the foundation of IANPHI and to close down the foundation because the foundation was an intermediary solution to receive funding. Jean-Claude has been the Secretary General for longer than me, for 6 years, and myself for nearly 4 years. So together we have done 10 years. So I think it's time to give the ball to someone else and to another institute. Thanks to Felix Rosenberg, Bjorn, and Neil for all the nice discussion we have had on very different topics. Many thanks to Felix for very nice discussions about health inequalities, how things work in Brazil, about culture and other things. To Bjorn, we have had many discussions about how to deal with things within IANPHI. And Neil, of course, as you have said, we have worked I think it was very nice to work with you, and we will continue, I'm sure. Juliette Fugier, she was the one who was instrumental in setting up the legal entity with our good friend, Olivier Dugardin, because without a lawyer, we cannot do much. So I think up to now, Olivier is very helpful in the transition. And of course, all the colleagues from the Secretariat and the offices in Paris and Atlanta, because we have had many people who have been trained also in those offices, and they have now very nice position in global health or in global institutions. So I wanted to say that it is all about people, teams, connections, collaboration between NPHIs and partnerships. I have to say also that the Association of Schools of Public Health in Europe have helped us to set up the association because we didn't know with Juliette how to do it. So basically, it was thanks to ASFER that we were able to set up IANPHI. So many thanks to ASFER and its successive leadership. And I have to say, it all started by an invitation of the RIVM director at the time to say, there is something interesting which is being set up. It's a new network. And maybe Santé Publique France, at the time it was INVS, maybe you should consider joining. So I was then invited to participate to a meeting at INSA in Portugal during the Portuguese presidency of the EU. And then we had the discussion, and there were so few members in Europe at the time that we could stay in a small room. So it was a very nice meeting, very interesting. At the time, the director of HPA, Pat Troop, she explained how they had to face at HPA with the labs the polonium issue and how it was needed to reshuffle the laboratory organization, and it struck me. So, and then with Jean-Claude, we've met with Jeff Copeland and Courtney Dusenberry in Atlanta to learn more about IANPHI, and they told us, whatever you can provide to IANPHI, it's good, because all small contributions are good for IANPHI. So once again, this is still true. even though we are looking for a lot of money, I think the expertise of the institutes are very helpful. So I wanted to end this here and say, again, many thanks to ENS for the work we have done for 1 year now to prepare the meeting. Many thanks to Sofia, to Eduardo, to Rufino, and Denise, who have been so helpful in organizing this. And also, this is ending our contribution as Santé Publique France as host of the Secretariat, but I think after 10 years, this is time to hand over. So many thanks to all, many thanks to RKI to have done all the necessary to host the new Secretariat, and to me. Now we will transfer all what we know to you, and you will work with a very nice team in Paris while the team in RKI is being set up. So many thanks.
So outstanding, not upstanding, outstanding. Thank you, Anne-Catherine. Outstanding. Sit down. To Sue Binder, where are you, Sue? Pass our warmest best wishes to our US colleagues. Our US colleagues have been part of IANPHI from the very outset and always will be. And in these moments, we need to recognize and be there for each other. So please convey that message from the General Assembly here. And Mika, thank you for your contribution. The World Health Organization exists for all of us. And we need to be there for the World Health Organization, as it has always been there for us. So as we develop the thinking about how we can individually and together best support the World Health Organization, thank you for that contribution. And Teresa, for the very many ways in which Canada has offered very practical support, not just intellectually and in expertise, but you have actually been able to give us some resource, which has enabled a whole series of other good things to happen. So thank you for that. And we have to move on in a moment, but I think there's one more recognition for Anne-Catherine and for Santé Publique France. Are we moving on to the EU? Well, the first thing I need to do is put a tie on.
Yes.
If you could just give me a moment. Neil? The second duty of the Secretary General is to provide appropriate tie wear for the President. Thank you.
So now we will sign the MOU between ECDC and IANPHI. I think Pamela is online and maybe we can see her now. And Antonis will bring the documents to sign. So just a few words, and maybe Antonis, you want to add something, but I'm sure Pamela is going to present everything. So we have been discussing for quite a while the MOU with ECDC. We have had a good relationship with ECDC for, I think, for 15 years, nearly, or since the creation of ECDC and IANPHI, basically. And it was time maybe to formalize this good relationship. There are many opportunities to work together, to organize back-to-back meetings, to also provide the knowledge from the Institute from another point of view than within the ECDC setting. So, but there are many opportunities in the contract as it has been signed to develop activities. So I wanted to give now the floor to Pamela, and then we will sign the agreement. And if everything works well, you will see Pamela on one screen and Duncan on the other screen when they will sign. So I give the floor now to Pamela.
Yes, thank you, Anne-Catherine. I can hear you. Hello to everybody, and a really heartful good morning from Stockholm, from the ECDC. I just want to raise some heartful words regarding the signature of our today's Memorandum of Understanding. We at the ECDC, we are really honored and even more pleased to sign this Memorandum of Understanding today between ECDC and IANPHI. And let me express also my big thank you to everybody who discussed and prepared this in the past months and even years. This, from my point of view, is a very important milestone, a milestone which enables us actually to extend even more on our cooperation and to share more information when it comes to the prevention and control of communicable diseases. And a lot has been said today already. I was listening in, and I'm very convinced that this collaboration between ECDC on one side and IANPHI is even more important than ever, because times are very complex. This is maybe a bit of a bit of making it smaller than it is. Very complex times with a lot of uncertainties we are facing. And this is particularly also true for global public health. So I know I'm a new director, but I know that IANPHI and ECDC already have a long-standing collaboration, and Anne-Catherine was mentioning this in her introduction. So this memorandum basically formalizes the relationship between our two organizations. So now we have a formal, and I would even say a solid basis, on which we develop a common agenda, how to tackle all the diverse and growing challenges, pressing challenges in times like this. So this memorandum also comes in a light of ECDC's reinforced mandate, which is a much stronger, a much broader mandate than before the pandemic. And our new mandate basically calls for a stronger collaboration and cooperation with non-EU partners and countries, and also international partners. So at the same time, ECDC has a new status as a formal member of IANPHI, a formal partner of IANPHI. And I have very great hope and also expectations that this agreement will open for both of us new avenues for enhanced collaboration through a better and strengthened exchange of information and expertise related to communicable diseases. So one thing is sunshine clear, together we are much stronger. So together we can strengthen health security much, much more efficiently, both at the EU level as well as at the global level. And I look very much forward for our next steps and actions to take and our exchanges in the future. So thank you very much. And I'm very pleased and honored today.
Pamela, thank you very much, and very, very well received here in the room and by all those that are also listening in. Nothing to add to your words. It's safe to say that, as you said at the end, we are stronger together, and we most certainly are by working with you. So let's move to sign the formal document. And I personally, Pamela, look forward to meeting you just as soon as can be. So how are we going to do this?
Yes. Yeah, going to sign. So Pamela will sign this online. And I think our colleagues of the team can open up on one side and then can sign, and we film like signing. So like this. You sign at the same time.
I shall sign the moment you tell me.
Well, I'm ready. ECDC is ready.
Okay. But Pamela, ordinarily we take our instructions from Anne Catherine, so just a moment. Yes, got both here. This is the point I usually say. Can you make sure you get my best side? And then they say, which one? Ah, okay.
Yes.
Oh. Do we have a go situation? 3, 2, 1, go. Thank you.
You may want for it.
It's the same. Thank you, Pamela. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Yeah, looking forward to working with you and meeting you in person very soon.
Thank you, Pamela. Many thanks, and see you soon in Stockholm.
See you, Anne-Catherine, and goodbye, and thank you to everybody. Have a good conference.
Thanks. So now we move to the third part and last part of the General Assembly, which is the handover of certificates for winners of the recognition of success in 2024, and it will be followed by the ceremony for new membership and handover of certificates. So then can we do this as the president?
So this is another wonderful part of our work, and many contributions from around the world in choosing against stiff competition, good practice. And it's all done with amazing careful governance to ensure that there's independence to these choices. So what we do though have are certificates of achievement and recognition of success, which have been approved by the executive board, and I have the privilege of giving these certificates of recognition this morning. So the first is for THL. Dr. Otto Helv is going to come up onto the stage. Where is Otto?
Right. Thank you so much for this honor. I thought I would give you a few words of description of what we've been working with at THL and in Finland in regard to the influenza epidemic on the fur farms. Now, zoonoses are extremely interesting. The mechanisms of a virus evolving from being able to infect animals to the stage of transmitting between humans and still retaining their capability of causing severe disease are immensely complex. And if you add to the fact that new transmission mechanisms are constantly developing at each step, you cannot be but awestruck and amazed. However, the one thing even more interesting and complex than the intricate workings of an influenza virus, it's the complexities in trying to contain it, especially on fur farms. Consider the intricate interplay and the differences of legislation concerning animal health and human health. And if you add to the mixture the spice of fur trade, in which animal health is not related to food production, you really have a multi-layered network of challenges. In Finland, in 2023, we were faced with a mixture of all these aspects of zoonosis. When in the summer, a mink at a small fur farm in the west coast of the country was tested positive for avian flu, followed by excess mortality in fur animals on tens of farms. We saw almost all the phases of zoonotic spread, first from a likely source of wild birds, through a number of separate introductions in fur farms, then evolution in the genetic structure of the virus, and eventually transmission between animals in the fur farms. 155 people were exposed to the virus, of which most were fur farmers or those working on fur farms, and also, for example, veterinarians. There were over 500 separate incidents of exposure, and 400 tests were taken from humans. All tested persons were happily negative. Eventually, close to 500,000 animals on 71 farms were culled, and eventually the epidemic was contained. However, the work is still ongoing on mitigation processes. Now, the amount of work and resources used to contain the epidemic was enormous. We collaborated closely with the Finnish Food Authority, several ministries, university researchers, fur farmers, veterinarians, and so on. The complexities were abundant. As an example, I'm sure you're quite aware of, it is really difficult to do surveillance when parts of the surveillance data, and in this case concerning animals, are initially considered trade secrets. So when human health is faced against trade questions, things do become complicated. But again, like in all public health, trust was a key issue, whether it was a question on data sharing or risk awareness. In addition to this, we were also the first country in the world to implement the avian flu vaccination in risk groups. We also used tens of millions of euros to compensate farmers for their losses due to culling and to increase biosecurity in the trade. All this, and we're still continuing fur farming. So I believe we, as public health experts, need to look at health challenges through a wider lens, and in this case, through One Health and planetary health viewpoint. By locating thousands of pandemic-prone animals, minks in this case, and fur animals, closely together in poorly protected sheds in order to maximize fur production, we're stretching the limits of planetary health. And when we're vaccinating fur farmers and those closely associated with farming in order to continue the trade, we really need to ask ourselves why. Is it really worth the effort and the cost? If we public health specialists do not see forest for the trees, then who does? So our experience underlines that we need to continue our work with renewed vigor and commitment. So let's learn from our experiences, collaborate even more effectively, and strive for a healthier, more sustainable future. Thank you for this incredible honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Otto. Now, the next is Dr. Bernardo from Mexico. Please.
Thank you very much for this recognition. It really means a lot to us. So on behalf of Dr. Eduardo Lascano, the director of the National Institute of Public Health of Mexico, we really appreciate it. I mean, you may think what a restructuring of this institute was necessary and is undergoing. I mean, we're an institution of about 250 researchers with 530 students, all of them graduate students. And we had a situation that was kind of weird. Like we had 28 educational programs, which is an insane number. We had different 5 research centers and a bunch of projects, almost 100, without that much connection between education and research. So the purpose of restructuring is basically put public health at the center of our activities and increase the linkage between research and education. So basically, we compress most of our educational programs into 4 programs: Doctor in Public Health, Doctor in Science, Masters in Public Health, and Masters in Science. Having what used to be our concentration areas or almost independent programs as fields of knowledge, but just keeping these 4 programs, and a few more with special characteristics, but reducing the number just to 10. And the key change is we try to reduce like the school, the sitting time in a class load of our programs. That was also crazy as compared to other countries. So now we can give credit to students participating in research activities and trying to give them a chance to learn by doing things more than just sitting in a classroom. So we're very optimistic about it. And this has required like some adjustment and recreation of new groups, what we call research and education groups within the institute. So we also created these groups that can coordinate research and education activities. And well, I would just end up saying that, as you may imagine, none of us is 100% happy about it, including myself. We all would like to have something else or something less. But at least I think we were able to have an agreement on the key issues, the key things that we want to follow to put public health at the center of our work. Also put it in a clear way in our regulations so we have a solid foundation for this change. And well, we hope that this is going to continue working well and move forward in our research and education activities. Thank you very much for this recognition.
Thank you, Bernardo. Now, Ivalda, Mozambique, Ivalda. Ivalda.
Thank you. This is actually really, really emotional for me because this became a personal project. As you could see yesterday, we showed an experience from Cabo Delgado where we had a hurricane, where we had a lot of deaths, and you could see the situation there. But in Mozambique, we still have a weak system where the majority of the population still dies at the community level. More than 70% of people still dies at community level. So building a system that can gather data at the community level is really important to understand the profile of the births and deaths in the country and understand and monitor the causes of death and the deaths rates in the country. So this system was able to support the country on understanding the main causes of deaths in Mozambique, and it's a huge example of collaboration at all levels. We have people at the community level collecting the data where they live. And we have people at the national level or the central level that are here representing the system. And with this great example, we are supporting other African countries such as Zambia and Nigeria to implement a similar system. So it's a huge achievement, and we are really grateful for this recognition. Thank you very much.
I must learn how to do that, would you? But the emotion is the humanity that makes it all matter so much, and the difference that we can make. And we've heard so far of such diverse contributions. It is awesome. And I had the opportunity to have sight of the headlines of all the different contributions that people made, and to Evalda to get this recognition, that's pretty special. Thank you. And then now maybe online. Are we online with Jia from South Korea?
Yes, I'm here.
Hello.
Hello.
I need to give you a virtual certificate of recognition, Jia.
Yes.
We'll somehow manage to get it to you. Congratulations. Would you like to say a few words?
Yes. Yes. First of all, I'm deeply honored that the Global Health Security Coordination Office, GISCO, has been selected for the IANPHI Recognition of Success 2024. I have been looking forward to meeting you all in Maputo, Mozambique, but however, I'm extending my heartfelt appreciation to you virtually. So in the wake of a COVID-19 pandemic, countries actively seek to bolster their national capacities by restructuring infectious disease response governance, enhancing workforce training, and strengthening the resilience of their health system. In this context, on the December 11th of 2023, the Korea Disease Control and Prevention Agency, KDCA, officially launched the Global Health Security Coordination Office to serve as a hub for the global expert networking and to strengthen global health security. So in 2024, GISCO initiated the core personnel training program aimed at the building capacity for the global health security. So these hands-on training targets keep public health professionals from the 10 ASEAN member states. And then the program is designed to enhance infectious disease response capabilities through intensive practical training led by KDCA experts. Training topics leverage KDCA's extensive expertise, including laboratory diagnostic and analysis, surveillance, and the epidemiology. So the total of 20 participants from the 9 countries successfully completed the program in 2024. And then GISCO plans to conduct this program annually, and then with an extended scope over time. And furthermore, GISCO has actively participated in a variety of the capacity building initiatives and the international collaborations, including WHO GORN and Global Health Security Conference, and then Global Health Security Agenda, GHSA. So our quarterly published newsletter also plays a vital role as a platform for the sharing updates and activities aimed at the strengthening both regional and global health security, and it will be shared with the IANPHI members as well. So global health security is a shared responsibility, one that cannot be achieved without collective collaboration and solidarity. So as a leader of the global health security, the Korea DCA will continue to leverage GISCO to promote international cooperation and drawing on the valuable experiences and lessons learned from the COVID-19 pandemic. With unwavering commitment, GISCO will continue to serve as a key platform for experts to share and exchange diverse efforts related to the global health security, thereby creating synergies across borders. So thank you very much again for this recognition. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. So final thank you to Otto, Bernardo, Evalda, and Gia. Congratulations, everyone. Now, I have been given instructions, Marie, but I didn't quite understand. All at the same time. Okay. So for time and as well to make sure we do this properly, we want to give certificates, new members of IANPHI, and to ask those to come onto the stage now. So now we have a new member from Northern Ireland. They can't be with us today, but Sierra Leone. Hello. Venezuela can't be with us today, but Mali. Do we have Prof. Guando from Mali? And Uzbekistan can be here, but we have Senegal. For instance. And Kenya. Okay. Uganda. And Singapore. Now, what we'll do is take the picture now, and then I'll do the certificates with everybody individually, but not right now. But it's been said so many times, our strength is in our membership. Our membership is each other and for each other. And to have you as members of IANPHI is of immense honor. So thank you very much. And let's take the picture.
So just wanted to share with you the result of the vote of Professor Wong to become the AB member to take over Professor Shen's position. So he will be AB member until the end of this year, and then there will be a proper election because the mandate of Professor Shen would have ended. So it is approved by the General Assembly, but we have managed to get the quorum. So with 29 approval and 3 invalid votes, so the quorum was reached. So Professor Wong is now a really member.
Oh, oh. This one I understand. INS, the team here at Mozambique, would like to welcome people to visit tomorrow in the morning between 9:30 and 12. So for those that are here in Maputo and would like to go and visit, they please sign up. It's a fair. Where will that be, Marie? It'll circulate. So that would be that would be great. Thank you very much for that. I want to close the General Assembly, but I do want to bring the Secretariat team up on stage to ask the team, Marie, Ines, Raphael, please come up onto the stage and we'll get a picture, the opportunity to do a proper thank you. Where's Sarah? Where is she? Okay. And Catherine, we need you to come on to the stage. Okay, here's the winning team. It's the A team. Could we give them our appreciation? Thank you. And Catherine, is it coffee? Coffee, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.